Hi, Facebook family. Hopefully, I'm doing this on my Natalie Ferrier page today as opposed to my personal wall or the Women Leaders and Public Speakers group because I wanted it to be a bit more accessible to everyone. So hi and welcome. Great to see you. And I wanted to jump on to talk about a couple of things today. So you might have seen that I ran a webinar last week that there's been a YouTube link up if you didn't get to jump onto that you might like to check that out as well. But essentially, there's two things I wanted to do today. Continue a Q&A if any of you are on right now and you'd like to jump on and ask some questions about how do I transition from the local face-to-face service space to the online delivery space? Then I'm here right now, if you would like to jump on. I also wanted to, in case it's a little bit quiet today or everyone's on other things, at 11 a.m. today, I thought I would also deliver a little speaking tip for you as well. Tracy Julie, welcome darling, hello, how are you? Feel free to write in the comments. Might also, do you have any questions today, love, about, I know you've written to me, we've been chatting behind the scenes this week, but is there anything around business right now and transitioning to the online space that you have any questions about or would like some insight about? Do you want to maybe pop it in the comments? And maybe, I think on this version I've got the capacity to bring you live if you want to come live as well. I'm still using the old version, but I think it has it on this. So feel free to trace if you want to pop something in the comments, or if anyone else jumps on shortly, feel free to let me know if you have any questions. Until then, I'm going to jump to the speaking tip that I wanted to give you today. So have you ever noticed what this is about? It's about to help you with just the presence, the sheer act of being as present in yourself as you possibly can be when you show up to speak, either online or live. Normally I would teach this in a live space, but seeing as we're talking about online business at the moment, I thought, well, it's also a relevant space to have for the online space. Can you hear the motorbike out there? Can anyone hear the background noise? Feel free to tell me. There's a major road outside where I am right now, so, love to the background noise. Gotta love it. So yeah, speaking tips. And feel free, whoever else has just jumped on, I haven't seen your name pop up just yet, but hi, welcome. And feel free to type into the comments if you have any questions that you'd like to put on here on the live at the end of this live today. Feel free to just jump them on and I can answer those for you at the end of this live. So without further ado, speaking tip. So, have you ever noticed how it can be sometimes before, particularly if you're going through a period where you haven't been doing a lot of public speaking or a lot of webinars or a lot of Facebook Lives, for example, like when you first get in front of the crew and the audience, it can be very tricky because you get in front of the audience and part of you goes a bit into fight, flight, reptilian brain, try and shut down any sensation from the neck down because you don't want to feel this painful thing. And if you have an issue about whatever the audience is potentially going to think or do or how they're going to judge me or perceive me, like all of a sudden it can start to put up this energy where you're a bit like between you and the audience, you're putting up this wall that's a bit like the power of Christ compels you to stay back, please get away from me, at the same time as part of you wants to show up and be of service, right? Have you ever felt that tricky thing? And it starts to become, if it escalates in you that far before you find your zone, it starts to become a little bit hard to sort of, stay grounded and in here in the moment. So what I wanted to talk about today is 3 things you can do to help you stay present and grounded and in yourself while you're delivering online, on a live or on a webinar, or just as much when we're back in the world doing the face-to-face thing down the track. Bless, because it's going to happen. It's going to be great. Here's 3 tips to help you, yeah? So the first one, and I've heard this come from a few places now, some of my speaking mentors included. Number one, it's about your intention, and it's about your intention to be of service, right? I found for me, it's really, really hard not to just start to ground into a very different place when you start to think about how can I be of service to this audience as opposed to thinking about what they're going to think of you. So the very first thing is to think about setting that intention of how you can be of service, yeah? And from that respect, number two can be really helpful in that you might kind of combine that with a meditation of sorts, because you might sit down before you're about to deliver something, which I literally just did before I was jumping on to deliver this. You may just sit down, sit in your chair, and while you're there, you'll picture you might close your eyes and you might just take a few deep breaths. Try and slow them down progressively as you're just taking a few deep breaths. And then you might just feel into your feet on the ground and the sensation that's going on in between the ground and you sitting on the chair. Like, you just try and be aware of that connection and feel a connection coming up from the earth at the same time as you set that intention of, I want to be in tune with my higher self and my higher purpose right now. Then you're bringing in that intention to connect with that part of you, or whatever your word for the divine presence is that you work with and connect with. So it's making that space to have that intentional ritual around connecting to those two things. And I often teach when I do this I teach people a quick little meditation that you can do when I talk about imagining your body like the phone icon for your battery on your phone, which tells you how full you are. How full your battery is on your phone rather, but it tells you when you do it in this meditation, you picture you, a version of you being like the little icon, which may or may not be full up in terms of battery charge right now, right? So then what you do just quickly is imagine your whole body filling up with the essence and the energy of you and the energy that you need to be of service with in this moment. So that's a really great little secondary intentional meditation, intention setting meditation you can do before you jump on as well, which will bring you into a very different energy, shift your state. And secondary to that, if you still have a bit of time before you have to go on, like